My background is completely software. I am a SimFactory product manager from Proekspert. Proekspert is a completely Estonian software service company, and a couple of years ago we started making our own products. So Proekspert background have been for today almost 25 years in industrial automation and in industrial integration, and lately we have added industrial analytics skills to our company. Last week we spent full 5 days in Germany in Prototron fair at Munich, and it was very exhausting but very exciting experience. We were there second year in a row presenting our solution for electronics manufacturing to improve their analytics capabilities. So it was exciting, we got many leads, but 2 years ago and during the time it hasn't been so gloriful actually. When we started with SimFactory, we had a decision what industry to choose. We chose discrete manufacturing, electronics manufacturing. Why? Because difference between discrete and process manufacturing are huge, and we are, as a software company, we are have been always experienced in electronics manufacturing by doing a solution there and there. For us, main difference is that basically discrete manufacturing is seems very certain. You have certain components, you put those components together, you can assemble and disassemble, you have very fixed designs and so on. Process manufacturing is scary for us because you have to kind of boil things in certain conditions, and basically you have to have very deep scientific knowledge or working experience there to improve there something as an IT person. But actually we were quite wrong. Discrete manufacturing and electronics manufacturing is also extremely complex, and we kind of were naive IT guys who thought that just digitizing processes fixes everything. No, it don't, because we don't know what the everything exactly is, because we are not the domain experts. So when we, I think we still started with right foot, and in retrospective, I think those mistakes, the main three mistakes we stumbled on, or obstacles rather, we still started with right foot. We just were inexperienced. We did very deep half a year business research, market research from top down and bottom up. We chose industry we knew relatively a lot, and industry that has a lot of money, and it is around 1.4 1.8 trillion business worldwide, quite big. I think it's comparable to mining business. I saw the numbers here. Is it right? First thing we discovered is that Estonia is full of electronics manufacturing, very big factories, very high-grade factories. Scandinavian electronics factories, German electronics factories have one common thing missing. Mostly their processes are on paper. Basically, when they produce something, paper runs from the beginning of the line to the end of the line, despite other machines or other people in between. It is mostly paper-based. Even if there are big ERP systems, big manufacturing execution systems, there still paper is used. So we found 2 years ago, we were lucky and found our very first customer, Oshino, that produces worldwide electronic lamps for new car models, who was willing to invest into digitizing his full manufacturing. And we did a great job. We managed to, together with Oshino, we managed to digitize all their 75 workplaces, maybe now there are more, with totally digital environment. Basically every assembly lady, assembly worker who works there now has to make 2 touches on touch screen to document their work. And the result is so great. Again, we met again on the Prototron fair, those Oshino people, and they said they still are discovering new ways how to learn from the collected data. Even if the data is not split-second accurate, because it is basically inserted or matched by people who have to touch the screen. And there are some amazing use cases. I can explain those privately if you want later, because this is not point of this presentation. So everything went well, but when we started looking around, okay, we created a great pilot, great product, let's resell it as a repeatable product or service. We discovered we are doomed. Basically, even if those electronics factories, even in the same group, let's say Enix group, where are around 10 factories around the world, even if they have the same products, the same type of products, same kind of lines, similar processes, each factory is individual. It has its history, it has its legacy, and its working habits. And even if we created this very, very simple toggle-like human-machine interface, we haven't managed to replicate it without extensive software development. Basically, we discovered we have to invest, we or our customer have to invest half of already invested money into the solution, just because their habits and processes are unique. And we, as IT guys, cannot do there nothing. So we built the product. At least we thought we built the product by relying on one customer, and basically it is very known mistake. I knew it from the beginning. You must not rely on one customer, but it is so easy to fall with a trap, because you need to prove to yourself that you are actually capable of improving this important environment and so on. But collecting data from electronics manufacturing, there are also other ways. Electronics manufacturing factories, assembly factories, are full of machines. Average factory where around 200, 300 people work has around 200 different machines and devices. one line has around 35 machines. So our other business case we investigated quite deeply was the idea that we create plug-and-play plugins for machines in electronics manufacturing. Because we knew those machines are basically those are not dummy robots. Those are machines with computers running some Windows 7 or 10 or something. So most of them. So luckily to there we invested only our business discovery and technical investigation money. Not so much. Because we already knew starting coding is very, very expensive. Basically, software on paper is the cheapest one. So, fail on paper. And what we discovered, and I am quite sure that it applies to all industries around the world, at least the metal industry, that all those machines, despite having computers or not, are basically built around processes, built around customer processes. This means each machine is unique, and if you want to connect it to another machine or software, you basically have to hack it. There are very, very good examples, and of course this world is developing. Some German companies are doing great work, and this year was announced a new club where bigger German machine manufacturers were willing to join their forces to develop at least some connectivity standards. But the reality is back more than 10 years compared to where IT is currently. Basically, every company, especially outside of Europe, in Asia, want to create proprietary connections and proprietary lines. But in electronics assembly, you cannot rely on one line because you are doing very, very high mix of products. And your electronics assembly service means that it works very similarly as a software development service, that customer comes to you and asks if you can produce me this kind of product. So we discovered we were ahead of time heavily, at least 2 years. We hope that in next 2 years it starts changing because of competition. But yes, being ahead of time isn't a good thing at all. It sounds awesome. They were ahead of time, but actually this means for startup, it means you are doomed if you are investing it too heavily there. But if you're timing it right, probably it is success. So we had to drop the connectivity part. Our idea was connecting machines, connecting people, connecting factories, and selling this service. We have to drop it now. We still have a vision of basically virtual electronics manufacturing, but this is far future for us as IT people. We cannot do there practically nothing. We cannot push them. So we went straight to the analytics part. The second thing we put our focus on, what was our actual dream, I mentioned virtual factories already, is basically automated manufacturing decisions. Before that, before all this automation, full automation, comes decision support. because decision making itself is it has very extremely high responsibility. So what decision support means for us? This means you take all the data, the same data that actual human decision makers have, and fuse the data, combine it, do your calculations, and suggest the production manager, factory manager, machine engineer that we have calculated with this certainty that this and this happens, and you should do this and that thing. So it sounds great. It is not very easy to achieve. Basically, this means machine learning, predictions, and so on. We are working on it. Our problem was how to do this without connecting machines. So what we had to do, we basically decided that we don't start this connecting. We start using actually existing data that is laying around. And in bigger electronics manufacturers, there are tons of data. Average bigger factory generates almost 1 gigabyte data per working day. Problem is just nobody can use those. So when we started figuring out our approaches, our solutions, of course we always consulted with 3 different factories all the time, their engineers, and we stepped step by step up, and we created valuable solutions for them. But there is a but always. It is very easy for engineers to talk with engineers. The problem is when our customer's engineer goes to their upper management, to their CEO, to their board, we learned that it doesn't work this way. They are not able to explain those expected investment costs, because they are deep in the technology. They think awesome technological improvements and so on, and doesn't think so much about the actual top 5 factory priorities at the time of workshop. We did lots of workshops. They were fun, but they lead us basically not the business. So another takeaway, always involve CEO. We thought we involved CEOs, actual decision makers. But what happened is that CEO basically says, okay, these are my trustworthy guys. I listen to them. But when a decision maker doesn't participate at workshops, technical workshops, then and listen only email CCs, then they are not aligned. And by discussing those very complex topics as analytics is and investments into analytics, it is a very big word, but in actuality, if you don't dig deeper there and don't give your opinion during the brainstorming and actual analyzing, then you don't understand why we reach here, and we need your input heavily as CEO, because you are the one who knows what is most critical investment, what is the vision of factory and so on. So, yes, we have learned. but we wasted many months on this kind of discussions. They were interesting, very, very interesting. We learned a lot. Technically, we learned a lot, but I feel that we could have started much, much faster if we have involved, physically involved the decision makers who owns the money and investment decisions. So, basically what we did, we started 2 years ago, we started this product development. Our vision was a cloud-based service platform for electronics factories where they can subscribe, push their data, this kind of operational data they trust to us, and we do the analytics and show them real-time results back. As easy as that. As this didn't work out, we basically returned to our roots. As I told, what Proekspert can do the best is to serve their customer, to build a very high quality, robust software that works in your back end, that works in your machines and so on. And this is your software, this is especially designed and tailored for this and that system. And when we went back to that, and okay, our money to the product is not wasted. We turned it to our internal tool basically, and we are using today it to provide analytics services, very, very rapid, fast and efficient analytics services to factories. And we're much faster than IBM Watson team, for example. So we're doing great. It was a ride. Thank you very much.